of this session. A lecturer from Kastamonu University, Faculty of Theology, Birol Yildirim, PhD, is going to take the floor, and he's going to speak about folk songs to Hajj. A folk song titled Cranes by Reyhani and Medina Hymn. The floor is yours. Thank you. First and foremost, I would like to extend all my respect to you, and I would like to give some special thanks to the Presidency of Religious Affairs. During the pandemic, it provides us with the opportunity of socializing, and in fact, Diyanet provided me with scholarship to complete my high school education, and you know, it was given bona fide, and then after my education, I worked for the presidency as many years. I can say specifically for 30 years. I lived in Erzurum. I completed my university education there. I studied there, and I got to know the local poets. And in Erzurum, there are special local cafes where you can find poets and singers of folk songs. There is a famous song, I don't know if you know about this. That song is about migration. I first listened to that song in Erzurum in such a cafe, and one poet, in fact, the writer of that song, provided me a great deal of guidance, and there are many poets famous in Erzurum. Symposium, Reyhani, in fact, we call them the Badeli. It means that they are Sufis. For example, they write about dreams and signs. And Reyhani, in fact, had one dream one day. In his dream, someone brings him some drink, and he thinks it is alcoholic. He doesn't want to drink it, and then he's given a bead, and he wants the interpretation of this dream, and Hijrani Baba interprets the dream for Reyhani. And another sophist, at the age of 80, speaks to Reyhani when he was at the age of 12. That is an interesting conversation too, and I would really suggest you listen to that conversation between these two people. You see a huge background of Sufism there. So the topic of my speech includes the Cranes song, and why? Because the interpretation or the interpretation of that song is totally based on Sufism. In fact, I don't know if Reyhani has ever heard of Sufist concepts, but he wrote about this. So he's talking about the self in Sufism. You know, you kill the self there, and then you come back to your hometown. You come to your hometown as a newborn person. So if that person comes to his old place in the old way, it is useless. So you have to leave all your luggage in the place where you go. So you have to leave all your luggage there after you go. And only after finding out all the secret truth about Prophet, one can really die. You know, one can learn all of these from the conversations, local conversations. This is not immaterial, this is material. Some people come back with tears in their eyes. And you see, this is just like what a pilgrim explains you. You ask them about their experiences, and they say that, okay, they are eating with their hands and some rice, and someone was praying without the ablution, etc., etc. And some pilgrims are just looking for souvenirs, some sajjadas, some rings, some beads, etc., etc., for their beloved ones. If this is all about it, there is nothing much left to Hajj. Mecca and Medina, Safa, Marwa, we can come and ask to you, and we can ask to the flag raised by the Prophet. In fact, only the spirit can go into that place, not the body. If that person is wandering there just like an ordinary Mehmet, it doesn't mean anything. So it is a place for people who just feel differently. When you stand there in peace, when you see Hajj al-Aswad, in fact, why can't Reyhani be there? Sometimes people say that the Prophet and Allah will be there. You see, all this interpretation is based on Sufism. Do you know Ercişli Emrah? It's one of the two famous poets called Emrah in our literature. The other Emrah is Emrah of Erzurum. He is more a Sufist. And in fact, I've heard the following poet of Erzurum of Emrah from Reyhani. For the first time, I heard this poem when I was listening to Reyhani. The cranes were used by many poets. For example, Emrah of Erciş. And Emrah of Erzurum was a poor man. He could hardly go to Umre with the benefit offered by a butcher, and he wrote the Medina hymn there. And by following the route of Hajj, in fact, he explains the journey of Hajj from the eye of the crane bird. A bird traveling through Damascus and all other places. And in Medina hymn, you can find many interesting verses. Here are some examples.
Çölleri, kudretleri renklendirir gülleri. Bakın hep tasavvuf temalar.
You see, all these themes, in fact, are based on Sufism. In fact, Reyhani really didn't have much of an education, just 3 years of a primary education, but it was very illuminating for me. And here I came here with a local guitar. It's a souvenir to me. In fact, it is very similar to my heart. It doesn't have any harmony. It has no more any voice. So, dear chair, if you let me, if you allow me, I left a video to the technical team. Am I allowed to show this now? I just want to show you Reyhani, and I just want you to hear his voice.
Bu arada hepsini rahmetle anıyoruz efendim.
God's mercy be upon all of them.
Kalkın bey kalkın Van'dan sökülün, Erciş'in düzüne konun dökülün yar yar. Melek gürpeyinden bire sakının, onlar avcı sizi vurur turnalar, turnalar, turnalar. Elim pasinlerde edin niyaz
Bir cümle ekleyerek bitirmek.
One conclusion sentence. You see this, after all you listen to about the culture of Erzurum, also with the inspiration given by Rumi, in fact, I call this the Saz-ı Şerif, the great guitar. Thank you. Dr. Birol Yildirim, thank you very much.